crossover event. We have people that have really never watched our great sport of boxing, and then we have people that are ardent boxing fans. Can you compare Logan Paul to a fighter that people may recognize the name? Is he a Donnie Lalonde? Is he a Pinklin Thomas? Who is he?
It's funny you say that because that jab does remind me of Pinklin, and Some funny you say Lalonde because I watched the fight when Lalonde recently, and I was like, he's got a right hand like Lalonde. So this guy has a lot of punches, man. And you understand something? He's just getting started. He's new to this. He was a wrestler. He did that wrestling stuff before. But now this guy's boxing. He took it on really fast. And over the last year and a half, right now, it's becoming a huge fight city. I just got off the phone with who is close friends with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will be at the fight. Ray J will be at the fight. Justin Bieber will be at the fight, and a whole host of celebrities, different celebrities will be there. There's so many that I'm losing names, but I'm excited. I can't wait for this fight.
Sir, I got to tell you on a personal level, I want to thank you for the years of entertainment. Every time you stepped in the ring, we always knew we were going to get a heavy-handed fight. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, champ. You're the best, man.
No, you are, sir.
I'm watching you, brother, and I got to tell you, man, they need to give you a raise. I think you got a big future in this. You're the man, champ. For real. We all watch you at home. Let's go, champ.
Thank you very much, Shannon, the Cannon, Briggs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Stryker. This is the Fight Info. Say it one more time.
Matt is the man. I know what I'm talking about.
There you go. The ringing endorsement. We'll be back with more. This is the Fight in Focus. You never know who's going to stop by.
Let's go, champ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. This chair will constantly and consistently be filled with names that will have an impact. This has such a crossover appeal. For those that don't know you, introduce yourself to the world.
I'm Vidal Riley. I'm a professional boxer myself, and I'm KSI's head trainer.
Right. Now, more importantly, you've been with KSI for all of his fights. Okay. What can the world expect for those that aren't really familiar with KSI?
Well, they can expect to see the guy that they've been following for years as an entertainer turn into a fighter, and that's the main thing here. He managed to build his following to get himself in this position, and I've managed to turn him into a fighter so he can excel in his current field, and we'll see that tomorrow night.
So now, we had Shannon Briggs sitting here before, and a lot of people were talking about, in the first fight, Logan Paul used his jab quite effectively until things got wild. But we have heard KSI say that he's training far differently for this fight. How do you guys plan to counter that reach and height advantage?
Well, without giving away too much of the game plan, it's just a matter of distance. How we get into the correct distance is obviously something we've been working on, but boxing is about distance and angles, and we're going to hit the right distance and hit the right angles to make the right result happen.
Now, on the flip side, we had Stitch, the cut man, sitting here, and he was telling everyone that he's so impressed with the body shots. Yeah. And anyone that watches boxing understands the importance of working that body, bringing the hands down, exposing the head. What are you doing there to truly work on the power? Because Stitch is saying that the power is deceptive.
Well, power is not something you have to work on, really. We're working on how he generates that power throughout his whole body. Brute force power, I believe you're born with it. Technique then refines it and puts it in a position where you can use it effectively on your opponent. So that's been the focus. We haven't been doing any power training. Everything's been transitional. Everything has been about using the body as a whole and as a unit to be effective.
So now a lot of people are saying how this has such crossover appeal. There'll be eyes on this fight that don't watch boxing. There'll be eyes on this fight that aren't familiar with YouTube or anything like that. How important is it to show the world, coming over here to the U.S., to show the world what KSI can do?
Well, this is the thing. We got bragging rights on the line. There's no official title on the line, but I promise you, this fight is going to be more valuable than some world title fights that you've seen because of the disdain that the guys have for each other. And, when we come over from the UK, we always want to prove a point. We always want to prove we can get one up on the US. And I personally love the US. My career is based out here. But if I can always get one over on a US fighter, then I will for the UK.
You can see that smile come out. It seems that on top of everything else, everyone's having a great time. Are they not?
Yeah. No, for me, I'm relaxed. When you've done the work and you've prepared your fighter the best you can, all you can do is smile because you just want to see him showcase, what we've put together. If we had any worries, then yeah, I'd be less relaxed, but there's no worries here.
Now, this fight will not have headgear. This fight will have 10-ounce gloves. Can we see a knockout?
I believe we will see a knockout. KSI between 4 and 6. I believe with the game plan that we put together, I don't think Logan will be able to stop it, and we're looking at between 4 and 6.
All right. Any social media where the kids can find you?
Of course, Is It Real? So that's ISITRIO across all socials. The rest will be there for you to find.
All right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The eyes of the world are fixed on Los Angeles. This is the man that has been with KSI since jump. He will be standing next to him when this fight goes down, hopefully as a winner. Sir, appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you too. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fight in Focus brings you things that you're never going to see. People walk in front of the camera. Who cares? This is a live atmosphere. This is a professional fighting atmosphere. What the Fight in Focus does is it gives you insight into things you may not know. Now, it's not just KSI and Logan Paul on this card. Billy Joe Saunders has come over to the U.S., wants to make a name for himself, wants people to see exactly what he can do. That's the WBO super middleweight title on the line. This is promoted by Eddie Hearn, a name that people recognize. Now, while some may dismiss the first fight as being pageantry or pomp and circumstance, this one here is entirely the real deal. No headgear, 10-ounce gloves, a card of professional boxers with championships on the line. Yes, I understand that the YouTube reach is huge. Millions upon millions of people will be watching our great sport of boxing for the first time. And everyone agrees that KSI and Logan Paul will rise to the occasion. You can be a part of this by going to the Fight app. Go to fight.tv. There's a myriad of ways to get involved. When we come back, we will have a Jake of all trades, a social media master. The one and only Jake Hurwitz will join me, and we'll talk about everything you need to know and more. This is the Fight in Focus. We're coming back after this. Jake, thanks for being here, all right? We'll come back in a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. I'm Matt Stryker. We have had so many greats sitting in this chair, but no one that knows as much as this young man right here. I call him a Jake of all trades. He's Jake Hurwitz. Jake, what's going on, my man?
Oh, well, you're too kind. Thank you for having me. I'm very proud to be at this event right now. I've been born and raised in L.A. my entire life. And watching this boxing fight between two YouTubers I've been watching for years and years is really, really something special right here at the Staples Center.
So now, talk to us about the fact that these aren't just YouTubers anymore, right? These are two guys. KSI has great boxing experience, and Logan Paul has wrestling experience. So talk to the people out there that may not know that right now we are looking at the weigh-in. There is Logan Paul checking in, seems confident. You see Shannon Briggs there with him as well, a former two-time world's heavyweight champion. That's who's going to be in Logan's corner. And to me, the difference is that both of these fighters, Logan Paul and KSI, they have professionals in their corner. This goes beyond just YouTube, doesn't it, Jake?
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, KSI has been around the boxing block a little bit more than Logan Paul has, but Logan Paul has an absolutely stacked corner. Both these guys do. KSI training with Vidal Riley and Stitch Duran. Logan Paul, of course, with the multi-time heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs. It's going to be an absolutely crazy affair. And collectively between these two fighters, because they are fighters now, going pro, this event, they have over 41 million YouTube subscribers, over 20 million Twitter followers, and over 10 million Instagram followers as well. So the outreach that these two have is insane, and they're taking their fighting talent all the way from England all the way to LA, and it's going to be an unbelievable event.
Now, if people want to be a part of this, what steps would they take to be a part of this, honestly, this huge crossover event?
Absolutely. So if you want to see the event, it's going to be live on fight.tv at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. That's going to be your go-to place to try to find it. We are live in over 75 countries, and it keeps expanding. It's going to be an absolutely amazing event. It's going to be probably the best boxing event of the entire year. You will not want to miss. I know Canelo just fought, but these two, it's going to be something special. The beef. Everyone keeps asking, is this beef real? Do these guys really hate each other? They act semi-cordial at the press conferences and the times they see each other in public, but behind closed doors and in the ring, this is absolutely a real fight. These two men do not like each other. It's the classic USA versus UK battle, and it's going to be a spectacle for all the fighting fans to see tomorrow night.
It's amazing you use the word spectacle. So in boxing, in mixed martial arts, in my world of pro wrestling, they say an angry fighter is a sloppy fighter. Now, you have seen the back and forth between these two on social media. What have you noticed between these two that tells you that this will be indeed a spectacle, Jake?
Well, both these guys are no no strangers to controversy. Obviously, they've had a lot of controversy in their past, and they're trying to get behind that and become kind of reshape their image. Both these guys have had a lot of experience doing different things. Logan Paul started as a Vine star, transitioned into a YouTube vlogger. KSI obviously has been with YouTube ever since the early part of the decade, and he's grown into a musician and now a fighter. And it's amazing to watch these guys evolve and now take their talents to the ring, where both these guys are fighting pro. These are 10-ounce gloves, no head guards. This is as real as it gets in the boxing world, so it's going to be an absolutely crazy experience. Both these guys want this so much. They have big, big egos, and one of them might take a heavy fall on the mat tomorrow night. It's going to be incredible.
How come you looked at me when you said big, big egos?
Oh, no. It wasn't you, I promise. It's definitely the fighters.
Where can folks find you on social media?
Yeah, so I am Real Jake SH on Twitter, and I also am Jake Seb Hurwitz on Instagram. I'll be covering the fights all throughout the event tomorrow night, and I'm a big UFC and boxing fan, so it's great to meet you on social media if you're interested in following me, and definitely check out Fight.tv tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. on the West Coast for the greatest boxing event of the 2019 year.
Young man, I've been doing this for half my life. I am very impressed with you. So I'd like to ask that you don't do any more events than I'm at, because I don't want you to take my job. You've been absolutely fantastic, Jake. Thanks so much.
No worries. I won't take a job. You have nothing to worry about. Thank you for having me.
All right. If we need you again, you'll be here?
Absolutely. I'll just be patrolling around. I'll be around the weigh-ins. Weigh-ins are live at 1 p.m., I believe, a little later in the day. So it'll be live, once again, right here on Fight.tv.
This kid's going to take my job. Now, you can't hold the microphone.
Give me 5
Get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Fight is all about. Live shooting. You never know what's going to happen, but that's the beauty of it. When you got a guy that's 6'4" walking in front of the camera, Jake, go handle my light work for me, pal. Yeah, go take care of him. He's actually a black belt in karate, Mr. Jake Hurwitz there. Ladies and gentlemen, the beauty of Fight in Focus is that it's live. Anything can happen. Okay, we've had Shannon Briggs, we've had Stitch Duran, we've had Vidal, we've had Jake Hurwitz. You never know who's going to stop by. And ladies and gentlemen, anything you need is on the Fight app. And now I'd like to take a moment to show you exactly how easy it is. Just go to your device, download the Fight app. The beauty of it is that everything is just so easy, and a lot of the stuff lives forever. And I've said this before. So let's say you order it and you have it on your phone or you have it on your smart device, and you put down some of your hard-earned money. Why not call up 5 or 10 or 15 of your friends if you have that many? I know I don't. Charge them $2 or $3 at the door, get a pizza, make your money back, but have an event. Everything is about community. Social media makes the world so small. There is no reason to not be a part of something. This is going to be trending all over the world. You do not want to miss it. And the way to do it is to be a part of Fight, to be a part of DAZN, to support combat sports in any way, shape, or form. When we come back, you never know who's going to join us. I know I'll be here, and if I can help it, Jake, we'll try to keep him off the mic, okay? We'll be back after this. I'm Matt Stryker. This is the Fight in Focus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. You are getting first-hand looks into the weigh-ins. You are getting everything you need and more, and that more is going to be given to us right now, representing Wave TV, the one and only Jordan Novak. Jordan, how you been?
Doing great. Thank you for having me, Matt.
Look at how straight you sit up. That's one. Between you and Jake over there, I'm going to really have to up my game. So, you are a huge boxing fan. Anything anyone wants to know, they come to you. Talk to us a little bit about this undercard. Talk to me about Billy Joe Saunders. Talk to me about Devin. Talk to me about the other fights on this card.
So this is really an amazing card. Eddie Hearn, DAZN, Matchroom Boxing, they've done an amazing job putting this together. Devin Haney is the youngest champion of all time, just having recently earned his belt. He is an absolute star training under the money team. Big enough star now that Devin Haney Promotions is now in existence. So love to see fighters sort of getting behind their own feature like that. And he's an absolute star, someone to watch, and someone who's a star should be really elevated here. Billy Joe Saunders as well, representing the UK, just like JJ or KSI. So even though this is in America, we're being very well represented by the Brits. And yeah, it's amazing to see two champions fighting alongside this. It really, tonight and tomorrow are going to be two massive, massive nights for the sport of boxing and sort of growing it for this next generation.
Now, it's wonderful that you mentioned that. It's a great segue, and I often have this conversation with people on social media. To me, boxing is enjoying a great resurgence. We are seeing so many great fighters. It harkens back to the days of glory here. What do you see for the future of our great sport of boxing?
Boxing is honestly, if boxing's golden era had already passed, we are entering a platinum era right now. There is so many young, talented fighters out there amongst all promotions. PBC, for example, is trotting out Deontay Wilder. Top Rank Boxing is trotting out 3 of the top 5 in Lomachenko, Crawford, and now Inoue. Matchroom Boxing with Ruiz and Joshua, and then also now putting on this massive fight here with Devin Haney and also with KSI and Logan. There are so many young, talented, exciting fighters out there that already have belts that we haven't even gotten into some of the prospects, like a Shakur Stevenson.
Yes, sir.
So this is going to be a huge night. I really hope that all the young kids and people that are watching boxing for the first time really appreciate just how much talent and hard work goes into this, because these people are putting everything on the line tonight for their entertainment, and this is exactly what boxing is every night, honestly.
Absolutely. Now, I trained in Gleason's gym, Brooklyn, New York, famous. Guys like Zab Judah came through, even Mike Tyson would come through, and then there was a lull where there weren't a lot of guys coming through at all. And I asked one of the trainers, I think it was Lennox Blackmore, I said, what's going on? He said, a lot of the kids now are doing MMA. A lot of the kids now are going to do professional wrestling. Do you see a lot of young people coming back to boxing?
I do. I mean, case in point, the very first press conference between KSI and Logan Paul had over 475,000 viewers looking at an end slate. The press conference was running late, and they still had 475,000 people watching it. There are so many people, thanks to these two amazing gentlemen, that have eyes on the sport that may have never had it before. And on top of the fact that we also now have generational talents like all of the amazing heavyweights. The heavyweight division is as strong as it's ever been. All these amazing talents, like I mentioned in Lomachenko. There is just so many young, exciting stars out there that eyes are coming back to boxing because the highlights are there and the stars are there.
The crossover appeal cannot be underestimated. These two fighters, KSI and Logan Paul, have a plethora of YouTube followers, a cornucopia, a myriad of Twitter followers. How important is it for these two to do what they have to do in the ring, no headgear, 10-ounce gloves, and B, how important is it for boxing to truly embrace this crossover?
I think it's honestly really important for boxing to embrace this crossover and that's why Eddie Hearn has done such an amazing job. He himself has now become a meme, which is a great way to gain relevance in today's day and age. No Context Eddie Hearn is one of my favorite Twitter pages. It's posting funny little reactions of him in 1 or 2 second bites. So on top of that and gaining relevance for Matchroom there, it's also just amazing because it sort of shows, like, with them turning professional and putting it all on the line as opposed to just an amateur, they're taking this so seriously. Logan enlisted 2-time heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs to help prepare him, who was not part of that last camp. JJ took his camp from London, brought Vidal with him to the money camp in Vegas, training with Jeff Mayweather. He enlisted Roberto Stitch Duran not Roberto Duran, just Stitch Duran, I'm sorry. But he enlisted Stitch Duran to help him with his corner. The greatest cut man in the history of combat sports, not just boxing, but MMA as well. They are taking this incredibly seriously, and it is a testament to boxing's resurgence that these two A-list stars, and I cannot stress this enough, Logan Paul in America gets recognized every time he walks down the street. KSI walking down the street in London, exact same thing. These are massive stars and arguably two of the biggest stars to step in a boxing ring in a very, very long time.
It's amazing, these heavy statements that aren't just fluff. There's truth here, and you've stated it so well, that the recognizability, the celebrity of these men. Now, what about your recognizability? Where can people find you on social media?
So at jordan.novack, Novack, on Twitter, or follow us at wave.tv on Instagram. We're launching our combat sports initiative, so we will be getting really heavy in the fight game in the coming months.
What is Wave TV?
So we are a highlights accumulation service. So anytime you want to see what's going on in the NBA, going on in the NFL, some exciting plays from just people playing pickup sports, we are your go-to home. We have everything very well covered. We have a bunch of really young, exciting people behind things. So our community is a super exciting group. And yeah, we're one of the fastest growing groups in all of sports media. And look out for us.
All right, and the parallels are amazing because fight is where you get everything you need in combat sports. So it's awesome to see new companies, startup companies that are beginning to take the mantle and run with it. The world is changing. The way we watch sports is changing. Everything is streaming now. Everyone has a device in their pocket, in their hand. There is no excuse to not be a part of something. Mr. Novack, I want to thank you so very much for joining. Ow, why are you guys shaking my hands so hard?
I'm working with one of the greatest professionals of all time, so you got to have the professional handshake.
Unbelievable. I don't know what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. I told you anything can happen on the Fight in Focus. I got to keep my eye on you and keep my eye on that Jake Hurwitz kid. You keep your eye on Fight. We're coming right back with more Fight in Focus after this. Pull up the chat because most times I will talk to people on the air.
to standing up. Different background.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exclusive for the Fight in Focus. This is the scale that the fighters will stand on, where they get the official weigh-in from the California State Athletic Commission. Now, back when I was wrestling, I was checking in at about 218. So let's see what the kid checks in at now. 217.8, ladies and gentlemen. I could fight for the heavyweight title. And meanwhile, when people walk in front of the camera, the beauty of it is simple, okay? This is live. Anything can happen. When I can stand on a scale and check my weight against the fighters that stand on that scale, that's the beauty of it. You can see how important the State Athletic Commission is over my shoulder. Everything here is done to protect the safety of the fighters, to ensure everything goes exactly as planned. The credibility, the pageantry, the promotion, the anticipation of this event is worldwide. We are here live in Los Angeles, just down the road from the Staples Center. Throngs of media are lining the streets here. Everyone that is anyone is here. Over on the other side, Shannon Briggs is throwing jabs. We've had Logan Paul come through. We've had KSI come through. Everyone that is anyone is here. And it's so important just to see what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone is walking past us. Let's come back over here. Let's have this conversation right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by, how are you? It's good to see you. How you feeling?
Very good. Very easy. Chill. Calm. Collected.
There you go.
I've done a lot of interviews. But yeah, no, I'm just relaxed and ready, yeah.
Spitting verses is your thing, and we've listened to, you often name drop a lot of great fighters. You name drop Lomachenko, you name drop Mayweather. How important is the influence and what you plan to do with it tomorrow night? Okay, you're being called away. Go right ahead. No, that's totally okay. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see when someone sits in the fight chair, immediately their stock goes right up. They get pulled away. We'll make sure to get him back in here because this is what you get with the Fight in Focus. Where else are you going to have such an organic, real moment like that? It's a perfect cliffhanger. Asking the question, and then the fighter walks away. So now we're all waiting with bated breath to hear the return. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a free form, anything you want it to be and more. Now, if you go to the Fight app, there is a chat room. Now, I was just in there, and I wanted to know that people can ask any questions they want. Now, granted, there are a lot of things that I cannot read on the chat, but we have people like Droz that's saying, let's go, champ. We have Limelight saying that the meme plan is everything that you need, the streams. Moose is asking about the Fight app. KSI, Logan, everyone asking, someone else see. People are truly involved, and that's what it's all about. The way the world is that you can be a part of everything in real time. Now everyone can be a celebrity. Now everyone can chime in and give their opinion, and that's the beauty of the way the world is going, because no longer do we have experts. It is now everyone. Anyone that watches, anyone that understands can weigh in. We'd love to hear your predictions. Hit us up on social media. Hit us up on the Fight app. Who do you think's winning this fight? Is Logan Paul's jab going to be enough to frustrate KSI? Or is KSI's intense training over the last few months going to be enough to get underneath that jab, to work that body? Growing up, I was a huge fan of Iron Mike Tyson. And we understand how important it is to get underneath a jab. If you remember the great Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, if you remember the way Mike Tyson decimated an elderly Larry Holmes, all of it came off of coming up underneath the jab, slipping, parrying, working the body, bringing the hands down, exposing the head. And when the head is exposed, someone is getting knocked out. That's what you get on Fight. And ladies and gentlemen, it's all combat sports. It's not just boxing. If you're a fan of mixed martial arts, Fight is your place. Fan of professional wrestling, Fight's your place. Lucha Libre, kickboxing, Muay Thai, bare knuckle boxing, anything you want in combat sports, it's all here on Fight. I'm going to be here. Make sure you come back because we got more of the Fight in Focus coming your way after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. What you are watching here right now is the inspection of the official gloves. Now, we have spoken about how important the 10-ounce gloves will be. They really only provide just enough protection for the fighters to not break their hands. Beyond that, there is really no cushioning at all. If a fighter gets struck in the right place, someone is going down. As you can see, the camps are inspecting the gloves right now, the Athletic Commission as well. Once the fight happens, you'll see that the fighters will have writing on their wrist tape. That means that the Athletic Commission has signed off on the hand wrapping as well as the gloves being placed on to make sure that no foreign substances are inside or on the gloves. There you can see a great shot of those 10-ounce gloves. Of course, the famous boxing family of Reyes is helping to be a part of it. You can see a member of KSI's crew watching intently there. You can see the eyes of the Athletic Commission. And if we can try to zoom in, maybe we can listen to what's being said. A huge security presence here as well, just because of the celebrity of both of these fighters. While it may be difficult to see, you can truly appreciate the magnitude of this event as KSI's team truly dominates the picture. But there is quite a bit of Logan Paul representation here. Of course, security has cleared out most of the fans that were over by the window there. because this is a closed set, but right around the corner, there's got to be easily 2,500, maybe 3,000 people here watching. As you can see, KSI's team, as well as security, intently trying to listen. You can see there, if you get a shot, that is Stitch Duran, and he is working with his fighter, wrapping, putting the glove on, allowing the fighter to feel the glove, to understand what it's going to be like to get in the ring, to have the 10 ounces on their hands. Understand, 16 ounces is a pound. So this is just under a pound on your hands. Imagine throwing punches. Go and pick something up that weighs a pound or two. Maybe take a gallon of milk, which might be a little bit more. There you go, right there. And you can see the smile from KSI. He's ready. He's feeling it, trying to understand, probably pretending that that's Logan Paul's head right there as Stitch Duran puts the left glove on, pulls it up high, and begins to lace it. Now, one of the things is you don't want the laces to be too tight because it'll cut off the circulation to the hand. These are the fighter's weapons, and in order to have the proper equipment, the weaponry needs to be maximized. And you can see just throngs of people. There we get a great shot right there. Look at the intent of Stitch Duran. Look at how calm and cool KSI is. Members of Logan Paul's camp watching intently as well. This is such a vital element, something you don't get to see a lot. The fighters getting familiar with their weapons of war, with which they will go into battle. Think about it. It's honestly the smartest thing that a fighter can do is to put on the equipment ahead of the fight. Get familiar with it. Of course, both KSI and Logan Paul have been training with these gloves, but to feel the official glove, to understand what it's going to feel like when it's laced up, to feel the dexterity and the mobility of it, that to me is the difference. As you can see now, Stitch Duran unlacing, taking off the KSI endorsed gloves right there. They're trying a few different types of gloves to see which one KSI will be more comfortable with. They are all Athletic Commission approved. They all weigh 10 ounces, but there are several differences in the gloves, whether it be on the inside, the way the fingers sit, the way the thumb rests, the way it feels when you make a fist. And to me, it's so important. And it's interesting to see KSI taking so much care and so much time to make sure that his equipment, his weapons of war will be ready for what is going to be a worldwide monumental event. People all across the world are meeting here in Los Angeles, the crossroads, if you will. We say hello to all of our fans in the UK, all of our fans all around the world. Fight is huge, wide-reaching, and Fight is the place for everything. Where else do you get to see things like this? Let's listen in. The Athletic Commission will mark the gloves. That means it becomes official. These are the gloves that KSI has chosen to use. Now, in the great sport of boxing, there has been controversy. A lot of times, people have often switched gloves. That's why the fighter signs the glove after the Athletic Commission, because those are the gloves that will be brought forth when the fight begins. No room for chicanery, no room for tomfoolery, no room for an unfair advantage. And now, Logan Paul's camp will get their hands on the equipment. As you can see, they are flanked by KSI's team, but Logan Paul's team is represented. But curious is that Logan himself is not here, whereas KSI himself is. What that means, I can't tell you, but it is a curious instance to pay attention to. a hat, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Nice. And right on cue, there is Logan Paul now. Logan will inspect his gloves just as KSI did, under the watchful eye of KSI's team. All the cameras from all around the world watching this. And if you notice, Logan and KSI have not shared a glance. There is true animosity between these two fighters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. You were just witnessing Devin Haney come in and do his weigh-in with his entourage. We were watching Logan Paul choose his gloves, KSI choose his gloves. This is what you get with the Fight in Focus. As you see Devin now rehydrating, incredibly important. State Athletic Commission will be meeting there as they discuss all types of things. You see the WBC represented here as well. Later on, we may get Billy Joe Saunders, WBO super middleweight champion. Let's go back now to Logan Paul and KSI. Seems to be a little bit of an argument here when it comes to the gloves. Shannon just said, I bet you won't go outside with me right now. Look at that. Look at that. Shannon Briggs coming out of his warm-up, saying, I do this for real. Shannon Briggs just challenged a member of KSI's crew to step outside. My father always said, you turn your back on a man you're not afraid of. Shannon Briggs just turned his back on the entire KSI camp. Members of the international media, BBC Sports, Sky, interviewing KSI. All right, seems to be some controversy here as Shannon Briggs almost came to blows with a member of KSI's team. And I think that animosity will certainly spill over into the ring when KSI and Logan Paul meet. As you can see, Shannon, normally jovial and smiling and laughing, does not seem to be that way right now. As KSI exits, we begin to truly get an understanding as to what type of fighter this is. To quote the great Geddy Lee, exit the warrior, as KSI leaves behind still quite a gaggle of press, quite a plethora of entourage. So much going on here, and I know it's often been said that you can cut the tension with a knife. You can truly feel the tension in this room. And it's not just KSI and Logan Paul. Billy Joe Saunders, Devin Haney. There's so much to be said for what Eddie Hearn has done, for what Matchroom Boxing has brought together. It truly is a testament to where this great sport is going, and you could be a part of it on Fight TV. Athletic Commission almost reprimanding KSI's team.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight in Focus. It has been absolute bedlam here. The State Athletic Commission is now asking several people to leave because of how intense things have been. Shannon Briggs almost came to blows with a member of KSI's team. KSI and Logan Paul, while they didn't say two words to one another, they certainly were giving each other death stares as the two fighters were able to feel the gloves and choose which gloves they want. We have members of the media all around as security, legitimate armed security, is escorting people out. It just goes to show you how volatile this situation truly is. Now imagine what it's going to be like when KSI and Logan Paul get inside the ring. The time for talk is done. The time for entourage is done. It's just KSI and Logan Paul taking it to one another. Both of these men have trained diligently for this fight. Anyone that watched the first fight was able to notice that in the beginning, Logan Paul used his jab, but after a while, and I don't want to say it too loudly because KSI's team is here, KSI got wild and he got gassed. He did not have the cardiovascular training to go the distance in the fight. The fight did go the distance, and it was no clear-cut winner, but now KSI has trained much differently. He has brought in an incredible camp. Fighting with the money team, dare I say playing, while Logan Paul has brought in Shannon Briggs and several other heavy hitters. This fight is important to both of these fighters as well because they understand the whispers. They can hear what people are saying, but now it's legit. It's Logan Paul, it's KSI, and it's coming your way on Fight. We'll be back with more Fight in Focus, and who knows what else is going to happen. They're setting up a table over here to my right. They're bringing Logan Paul over. I don't see any members of KSI's team here, but that could change very quickly. Shannon Briggs constantly talking to his fighter. Constantly, look at that, talking about the jab right there. Talking about strategy here at a weigh-in. As you can hear security saying, if you don't need to be here, leave. Hopefully we can stay in here. We have our press credentials, and we'll get insight into what's going on here. This is Fight in Focus. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been told that we have to stop filming. That is a first in my entire career. Security has just come over to us and said, guys, you have to shut the cameras down. So we're going to do that. As soon as we're allowed to come back up live, we will. Stay in the chat room. I'm going to jump in the chat room as well, try to give a blow-by-blow as to what's about to go down here, because for some reason it's so important they want us to cut our cameras off. This is Fight and Focus. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to leave our cameras on, and I'll just have to stop talking so no one knows what we're doing. Set. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Fight in Focus. It is raw, it is bare bone, and it is unpredictable, unprecedented that we have been asked to leave just because of the certain legalities at the California State Athletic Commission going over the rules with the fighters, Logan Paul and KSI seated at the same table. The volatility is there. We are trying to get the promoter of this entire card to join us here, and here he comes right now, Mr. Eddie Hearn. Sir, how are you?
I'm over the moon. I'm very good, and I'm so much enjoying Fight TV because we have this tracking system where we're watching all the territories where people are subscribing for the fight, and it's blowing my mind. I mean, countries that I didn't even know existed, let alone follow boxing. So you guys are doing a great job, and we look forward to a huge fight and a huge event tomorrow night at the Staples Center.
So talk to the folks here. What did it take to put this thing together?
Well, these guys, you know, two of the biggest entertainment stars in the world, two guys with two of the biggest followings in the world, well, the biggest followings on YouTube, they did the first fight, and they asked me to do it. And I said, no way, you know, I'm not doing that. Head guards, big gloves, you guys can't fight, it won't sell. It sold out 20,000 in the arena. It did 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, and it was a really good fight. So I said to them, let me do the rematch. And I said to them, but you have to join the commission, you have to lose the head guards, you have to wear 10-ounce gloves, do your drug testing, do your medicals, do everything to make it credible. So they've done it. Tomorrow night we're in the Staples Center with the world watching for the rematch, and it's a new world, you know, it's a new audience, and these guys have a huge following, you know, virtually all of which will be watching the fight on Saturday night, and I'm excited. A lot on the line for both guys, you know, bragging rights. They spend their whole life pop-shotting at each other, so the loser of this fight is going to be a walking meme for the next few years.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned how the eyes of the world will be fixed on this fight. That brings me to my next question. Billy Joe Saunders made it a point to come over to the U.S. because he wants new eyes. This goes beyond just a show. This is about the sport of boxing and bringing new fighters to the world, isn't it?
Yes, and also I wanted to give it the credibility of actually incorporating professional boxing, although they're both pros now, but world championship boxing with this. So you got Billy Joe Saunders, you got Devin Haney, you know, you got some of the best fighters in the world on this show because
Hey, it's live.
It's live. So, you know, you're in a situation where ultimately we want to showcase great boxing to this new audience. You're not going to see in KSI Logan Paul Hagler Hearns. But what you're going to see is two guys who are huge stars that really want to win and really need to win. But what you're going to see for that new audience is great boxing. You know, some of the biggest stars in the world, you know, to make sure that, you know, these new fans get to see greatness as well.
Now, it begs the question, whomever wins this fight, will you book another fight with these fighters? Will they continue to go into the world of boxing, do you think?
Well, I can't say names because they've asked me not to, but you wouldn't believe the amount of people, megastars, who have asked me in the last 48 hours to fight the winner. So, I don't know. Look, this was a one-off for us, but it's also made me, it's really opened my eyes to the world of numbers and, you know, the new age of digesting content. You know, the age of the linear broadcaster is dead. You know, these guys are hitting bigger numbers on their platforms than Fox, than ESPN, than all, you know, so we can't ignore them, but we must try and make sure that the code of the sport is respected. I don't want a guy going in there that can't fight. These guys can fight. They're never going to be world champions, but they can fight a little bit. They've trained hard. They've got some of the great trainers in the world around them, you know, so we've got to make sure that anybody that wants to enter the sport is fit to do so.
And honestly, from the fighting perspective, I think all of us can respect the fact that you want to keep the credibility of our great sport. It isn't just a circus. These are two guys that genuinely dislike each other with professionals in their corner. Now, can you just give us a hint as to some of the names that have kind of tried to dip their toe in the pool?
No, because I promised I wouldn't. And some of them have even started the message saying, please don't make it public, but... You know, just out of curiosity, I think, you know, the thing is about boxing, it's not just about the money for those guys, it's about the challenge. And I think challenging, getting yourself fit, getting yourself fight ready, that's the beauty of this event. These guys could have gone go-karting and filmed it live and done the same numbers. They chose boxing, and they chose the toughest sport of all. And for all the numbers and all the trash talk and all the views, tomorrow night, they go into the Staples Center to have a fight in front of the entire world. And that's thrilling. And that will dawn on them at some point in the next 24 hours.
Yes, it will. I think you may have stumbled upon something. Combat go-karting. Do you think there's a future?
Anything's possible. I can see that now on fight.tv.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Eddie Hearn. We appreciate you bringing this to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Fight will bring this to the world. Everything you need and more. Thanks to this man. Thanks to all of you. This has been the Fight in Focus. I'm Matt Stryker. We'll come back after this.